Today, we're diving into the world of clowns and childhood trauma. Because hey, who needs therapy when you got Stephen King? Today, I stopped off at my local video store and I rented the 1990 TV miniseries, Stephen King's It. Yeah, that's Stephen King's It, the one that made sewer drains a potential death trap. This has got to be hands down one of the scariest episodes of video rental chaos in history. That's right. Now, if you were born in the 80s and caught the Stephen King miniseries It as it premiered in November of 1990, causing kids to melt down with a fear of clowns for the rest of their lives. So before we all start to float around here, let's jump right on into part 1 of Stephen King's It. Our story begins in the town Derry, Maine. We find a little girl coming home as her mom is telling her it's time to come in for the evening. Over her shoulder, she hears somebody say, "Hi!" and turns and smiles and sees a friendly looking clown. The music changes, as does the clown's face, as he attacks the girl, killing her instantly. The police are on the scene. We see Mike Hanlon on site as he is doing a bit of his own investigating into what is going on with the recent uptick of murders in Derry, Maine. After being told to leave the scene, Mike finds an old black and white photo of George Denborough. This confirms it in Mike's mind that indeed Pennywise the Clown was back up to his old tricks. Now having to notify the others, we see him in the library making his first phone call. This one to the leader of the Losers Club and older brother to George, Bill Denborough. Bill flashes back to the day that Georgie was killed. Georgie was happy to be given a sailboat from his older brother Bill. After getting the guts to go up into the cellar, they put the sealer on and Georgie is on his way down the road. He sees the storm drain ahead and tries to stop the boat from going down it. He is too late, as it seems the boat is gone forever. All of a sudden, a voice comes out of the drain as Georgie meets Pennywise the Clown. He tries to get his boat back, but Pennywise turns evil and rips Georgie's arm off. After the funeral, Bill is in his dead brother's room when the book comes to life. As Georgie winks at Bill and the book begins to flood with blood as it's coming out everywhere. This is where we learn that adults can't see this monster. Mike's second phone call takes him to Ben Hanscom. His night, however, is ruined when he realizes what is going on. Ben remembers being the new kid on the block. He is instantly a target for Henry Bowers. Ben meets Beverly Marsh. Now, on his way home, he encounters Henry Bowers again. Right as Ben is about to be sliced up, he kicks off and falls down the embankment. He hides while Henry and his gang run into Bill and Eddie. They fuck up the dam and leave. Ben comes out of hiding and once they are gone, but Eddie is having an asthma attack and Bill has to leave to go get his medicine. Once Bill arrives back, the three agree that they need to meet again to begin building a dam. Being smitten by Beverly Marsh, Ben's cousin is a dick and steals his poem. Ben takes a couple shots but gets caught. He refuses to apologize and heads down to the barracks. Ben thinks that he hears his dad's voice. In one of the more haunting scenes, Pennywise the Clown is seen floating above the water and his skeleton tells Ben that they do indeed all float. Ben probably should have just jumped off the building. Next up, we see Beverly Marsh, who now runs her own fashion line. She and her partner Tom Rogan make a deal of a lifetime. After a quick celebration, Bev gets the call from Derek. She refuses to be abused any longer and tells Tom to take a hike. Growing up with her father, she gets a random buzz at her door. It's a love poem from Ben Hanscom. Bev's dad intercepts the poem and things get rough real quick as he thinks Bev is up to no good. Well, Bev is able to escape her father, but Ben approaches her and offers to take her to the Barrens. He introduces her to Bill and Eddie. Well, by golly gee, it's Richie Tozier and Stan Uris together, as now they montage it up and build themselves a pretty sweet dam. After getting home that night, Beverly hears voices from the drain and is told by Pennywise that the ones that she hears down there are all the dead kids, and that she will float too. A sudden burst of blood shoots up and sends Beverly screaming for her father. He checks, but remember, parents can't see this shit. You'll die if you try to fight us, Beverly. We shoot down to Long Island, New York, as Eddie Kaspbrak is in a hurry to get out of his house. and away from his nagging mother. Once on the train to Boston, Eddie is back in a time when the Losers Club went to the movies and kicked a box of popcorn, and Richie ended up throwing a soda on Henry Bowers. They make it out of the theater and back to the Barrens. They drop Eddie off at his home, where his mother has a panic attack and tells the children to leave immediately. She doesn't want Eddie to take showers with the other boys this next week. He ends up in the showers after hours, as things are fine for a few moments until the showers become possessed and forces Eddie into a hiding spot in one of the stalls. We hear the voice of Pennywise the Clown, who comes up through the drain and tells Eddie that he's gonna like it down here. Richie Tozier's the name, and doing voices is his thing. Now in the back, he gets a call from Mike. This is serious business, as Richie turns down the Tonight Show in order to go back to Derry to make good on his promise. Richie's flashback begins with them listening to Bill tell a story. Bill feels this is the right time, though, to be honest with them about his encounter with it. Before Bill could stutter it out, a local cop comes down complaining about the dam. He tells them about the latest murder and makes them promise to stay together in the Barrens. Richie has a run-in with Bowers and causes the principal's lunch to go everywhere. Richie is sent to Mr. Marsh's janitor closet to get a mop, but he can't find Mr. Marsh anywhere. He hears some rustling in the back, but it's not Mr. Marsh, it's a fucking werewolf. Richie gets away, but turns around to see Pennywise the Dancing Clown, absolutely losing his mind with Richie, and tells him to come back anytime, and to bring his friends too. Richie gets back upstairs looking for help, but no one believes him. Mike has his own flashback this night. He remembers sharing his old photography book with his classmates. After school, on his way downtown, Mike is confronted by Bowers and his gang. They chase him to the rock quarry. As fate would have it, this is where the Losers Club had finally had their come to Jesus moment about Pennywise the Clown being very real and wanting to kill them. They hear Bowers and get ready with rocks. Mike makes it to them, and the rock war is on. Their numbers overpower Bowers, and they kick him out while Bowers proclaims that he will kill them all. Now the Losers Club getting a new member in Mike, thus completing the circle. In the Barrens, Mike continues to show them photos. They see photos of Pennywise the Clown and quickly connect the dots that Pennywise has been in Derry for a very, very long time. All of a sudden the pages flip and we land on an old photo that was not in the book. It begins to move, and in the background we see Pennywise make his way to the forefront. It proclaims that he will kill them all and tries to attack them. Stan closes the book and they convince him that what he just saw was real. Bill proclaims that he wants to kill it. We come back to Mike, and all of a sudden, boom, the balloon pops, scaring 30 million people all at once. Our final flashback of this film takes us to Stanley Uris, who is about to bang his wife. He gets the call from Mike and decides to put banging on hold for a nice hot bath. We come back to them as kids with the slingshot competition to determine who is going to be the one to shoot Pennywise the Clown. Well, it turns out to be Bev. They're revealed to have real silver that was melted down into bullets. This will kill it for sure. The day has come to fight it. In a sense of coming together as one, they all puff on Eddie's inhaler. They enter into the scariest building of all time on TV, as right behind them though is Henry Bowers. They enter the sewer, navigating their way through. It is on the prowl as he gets Victor Chris / Patrick Hockstetter. Henry Bowers and Belch grab Stan and intend to kill him. They see the bright white light as it explodes through a pipe and takes Belch. Bowers, not believing this, yells for Belch. It comes back as Stan escapes, but it's too late for Bowers as he's lost his mind. Stan makes his way to the others, and they all see its deadlights for the first time. They join hands hoping that their energy can save them as smoke fills the room. We see Stan as he's holding Pennywise the Clown's hand as Pennywise grabs him and shoves him against the wall. Pennywise is about to kill these kids one by one, but Eddie strikes fast with battery acid and melts Pennywise's face. Bev shoots and nails Pennywise in the head. Knowing it is about to be killed, Pennywise leaps through the air and into the drain. Bill tries to stop it, but it gets away. They leave this horror and make a promise that if it isn't dead, they will all come back. We end part 1 with Stan's wife coming up with a beer and to rub his back. She opens the door and finds Stan dead of suicide. His final words, it. I'm going to keep this one short as this is only part 1 and I would like to save my final thoughts for part 2. This movie, to say the least, scared me to death as a kid. Part 1 was always my favorite. That's until I watched both parts for this review. Now, to find out more what happens in part 2, tune in next week for the chilling conclusion of our review for Stephen King's It. Till then, I'll see you down at the Barrens.